Hectic. I got through round 17. I finally get my captain back. Everything's looking up. You can build to that final 17. Get all those guns in. Oh, wait. Origin. I actually have to back up. Oh, shit. Who here owns multiple Panthers players and is a little bit scared? If you own Curdy Falls, you're very, very happy. But round 18 is always a fun one, especially in the back end of the year. Like earlier on, teams kind of got a general idea where they're at, but coming into round 18, a little bit more, there's plenty more on the line because a lot of teams know, oh, I actually have to win 5 of the next 8, whatever it is, to make the finals and stuff like that. So there's a bunch of teams like that. But then on the contrary, if you're looking at Panthers, we knew this was going to happen at some point. They were backed up after that first one, but here, there's no need to do it. They're playing a matchup which is fairly favourable to them, and they're actually missing a bunch of their players. So wait for that one when we get there eventually. But like and subscribe. I appreciate everyone for being here so late in the season. I know there's a few guys that are running out of trades now. We do get 4 more in round 20, so stick around until then at least and try and get your best rank possible and win all your head-to-heads. The Cowboys v the Sharks here. In terms of things we need to speak about, we've got Talangi is actually not going to play this one. So we do see later on in the video that Munster is actually named. So both of the guys with COVID, they're deciding to rest Murray, which is completely fair. Would have been nice for him to play the Sharks, but isn't the case. We see Dearden, who's been named after he's going to be playing Origin on Wednesday night, which is great for him. We also don't see Jeremiah Nanai and Valentine home. So other than that, team's looking pretty solid. We got Lemilu still in there. We got Taumalolo. We're going to do a deep buy, hold, and sell video tonight with Scoop. So get excited for that one, guys. And if you are seeing this, get in a question or two before we go live at around 6:30, 7 o'clock tonight. So in Sydney time. So yeah, jump on the Discord and get in there. But yeah, Cowboys, in terms of guys we look at, I've got Drinkwater at about number 5 or 6 in terms of best fullbacks. We've got Latrell that's going to be ahead of him, I believe, personally. We've got Taumalolo, who I think is personally a hold in anyone's team. On the Sharks side of the ball, we've got a few guys to talk about, and obviously Nico Hines being one of them has been named after having COVID last week. So that's great, great signs for anyone who's missing a few players that Nico's definitely going to play, which is very, very ideal. In terms of anyone else, we're not really going to talk about anyone else apart from McInnes, who we will be having as a hold this week after getting those big minutes off the bench. So that worked out well. Hopefully he picks up that 60-odd again. So the only one that's out is Jordan McLean as well, but he isn't fantasy relevant. Unfortunately for him, is going to get his debut and will not from now on. So, Eels v Warriors. On the Eels side of the ball, we have a few guys that are going to be in the buy, hold, sell video. Will Penasini is going to be one of them. Dylan Brown. We'll speak about Moses, for example. Reedy Marnie. We also miss out on Ryan Madison. For those that brought him in accidentally last week or just didn't realise that he was going to be out, he's actually out again this week, which absolutely kills you. So that's that. We see Papali'i in the 12 jersey, which is great. Nick Corey is going to play 13. So plenty to talk about in that buy, hold, sell around Reedy, Dylan, and obviously Penasini. All either holds or potential sells, which I've spoken about briefly already in other videos. But that's that. We'll delve into that when it comes to it. On the Warriors side, we see Reece Walsh come back. So if anyone owns him, good news for you. And in terms of the forwards, we see Tohu Harris in the 10 jersey. We've got Aiken in the 11, Curran in 12, Tavanga in 13. So don't think it matters for Tohu where he plays. If it's 8, if it's 10, if it's 13, he's going to be fine through the middle there. Joshy, I think, is a nice edge, so he can play there as well. It's interesting that they have gone this route, though, when they've got those 3 guys to play them like that. And Aiken, of course, the 1 week potentially going to play centre, doesn't end up happening. And now he's just firmly in that edge back row position, which is annoying for anyone who decided to move him on. Anywho, Roosters v the Dragons. So we see Joey Manu still in the 6. There's no signs of Lukey Kiri at the moment, unfortunately, with the concussion that he suffered. He has had a few in his career, and they're definitely being a lot safer with him, which is very, very noble and good to see. Obviously, that's more important than him playing, and it does help Joey Manu owners in the 6 jersey. So if he happens to get a few more games in that 6 jersey, he's very, very likely to score very, very high. So Manu, great option. I've spoken about him as being probably the 3rd best centre, 2nd or 3rd, depending on where he plays. And obviously there after Burton and Aiken, or in front of him, depending if he plays 6 or 1. We see Tedesco looks like he's going to be backing up, which is great. Also with Angus Crichton. So Crichton, I personally think is a hold, but we'll touch on him as well. We have Takaaho, who's been super and is definite hold. And on the Dragon side of the ball, Cody Ramsey, I think he's doing well enough right now to garner himself, or get himself another week, potentially in your best 17 this week, or 18th, for example, and then get a little bit of cash out of him and go from there. Benny Hunt, he's been named to play. He's probably going to play more minutes, or potentially the full 80 in Origin on Wednesday night, so he might not back up. We'll see how he recovers from that. And then Jack Bird's still a solid option for people. If you didn't pick him up last week, you obviously got a big jump in price, and well done to those that did that. Ravalawa is out, as well as Tarek Sims. So Ravalawa with the hamstring injury. Okay, Eagles via the Knights there. We got Ruben Garrick, who has been named, which is awesome for owners. I think you just hold steady, see what happens. Kohler up against the Knights too. It could be a fairly close game, this one, but probably a good idea to hold on to Kohler this week. Again, we'll speak about him in detail. DCE has been named to return. This is a Saturday night game, so they get 3 nights rest, which is good. The Thursday, Friday, and the Saturday there, 3 days, I should say, 72 hours, close to it, in rest time. So hopefully, DCE will be right. That's obviously pretty important for the Manly boys to come in and back up, just because they haven't been playing incredibly well, or they're not super high on the table, for example. And they need to get in and play well. Olakwatu, always an okay option there. In terms of the Knights, guys, a lot of them we would have picked up last week. The majority of them are holds. Even Frizzell, with how poorly he's played, he's definitely still going to be a hold as well. But we see Jaden Bradley move into the 9 position. He's going to get it full time now with Chris Randall in the 19. So, thoughts on him? Definitely a keeper option, but I think not this week. We need to see him in action, playing those big minutes and doing well, and then we can get into him. He's going to be super excited to get out there and tackle hard and do really well. So let's just see what happens before we move on to Jaden Bradley, for example. Titans, we see Tanner Boyd in the 6, which is something. Oh, the only thing I wanted to mention, was the Warriors. We had Volkman, who is out as well, so we missed out on him there. And Chanel Harris-Tavita comes into 6. He has an illness, I believe. Set it down here. Sidelined by virus, yeah. So unfortunate for Volkman to get that extra cash, but should be back, I'd say, for sure. All right, so Titans, anyone really to talk about? We got Booth in the 9, Aaron Clark on the bench, so something, but I don't think it's enough to do much about. To be honest, Dave Fafita comes back in the starting side again, not really touching him. Brimson's been doing well. Sasifa Fafita gets a chance on the wing there with Marzu out, and Tino is still a strong keeper. If you got him, I'd be holding. On the Broncos side, Reynolds is going to be an interesting one. I will speak about him with my head-to-head team having him and Cleary being off the board now. Then Reynolds is probably a hold, but still a little bit annoying. We see Palacia keep the 8 jersey and Zach Hosking keep the 11. So really happy for Hosking owners. You obviously get a bit more cash generation, but really the biggest thing here is another score this week. So he should get some big minutes again with that bench holding a Jake Turpin and a Tyson Gamble. It's really only middle forwards in Kennedy and Flegler. So Hosking should get the 80 minutes again, and Hetherington some big ones also same for Palacia. Should get a little bit more money making. We'll speak about Ezra Mam as a potential hold as well, or a sell. But the Tigers, so interesting one here is the big moves. We've got Adam Dewey moving into the 6 role, and this obviously is going to create some interest from a lot of coaches. We know how well he scores in the 6th position, and we'll delve into him a little bit deeper in tonight's video as well. We've got some movement, obviously. Jackson Hastings goes to 13. We see Matamua on the edge there, which is great for him. We see Pole move to the interchange. Luke Garner, unfortunately, the interchange. So that's a tough one. Hopefully that changes for anyone who's a Garner owner. But if not, I think it's probably an ideal time for you to move on from him. Offengawi moves to 8. I don't think that changes too much for him, to be honest. Very similar to the Tohu Harris situation. So I think this is a good move. They need to try something, the Tigers, and I think that having Dewey in a prominent role with also Brooks and then Hastings being on the park, playing a link role, I think is going to be fine, especially with how his foot is. I think that's going to be a great decision for him. In terms of the Panthers boys, we obviously see Taylor May, Isaac Tungo, so there's no Crichton. Edwards is there, which is good. You see Robert Jennings, Charlie Staines, Kurt Falls. So if you own him, probably worth playing him this week. He scored really well and up against the Tigers this week. So, going to be a tougher game for him, but should still do fine. Api Coruscant is not being named as well, so plenty of outs. Obviously, you can see them all here. Brian To'o. Unfortunately, if you own To'o, you got To'o, you got Cleary. Would you have a third? Maybe Api or an Isaiah Yeo. You're in a bit of trouble, a bit annoyed for sure. And the Storm v Raiders. So this one here, Pap's playing, which is good. We've got Munster returning and Jerome there, so hopefully both of them score well for anyone who owns them. With Harry Grant's been named to return, which is awesome. For anyone who needs him, Xavier Savage is still in the 1 jersey and no CNK, which is good, which we thought anyway. And then In terms of the rest of the guys, you got White and Fogs, Wolford, and Adam Elliott still on the bench again, which again is annoying, but he still scored great last week. I'd like for him to get more minutes, but it is what it is. Anywho, I believe that is our second last game. We've got the Dogs v the Bunnies there, and we do see Tavita Pangai Jr. named. So if anyone owns Max King, that's a little bit annoying. You know, so there might be some decent minutes for Tavita. Could cut into King, but we're not exactly sure. If he's still got Maxi, I'd be playing him for sure. Same with Jackson, he's a hold. Avrilo, Carraz, if you still hold them whole way through, they're a hold now. Burton, potentially pick up this week or next week. It's going to be a fun game against the Bunnies there. And for the Bunny side of the ball, Latrell Mitchell, a good pickup this week if you're looking for an underpriced keeper. And then Damien Cook and Cam Murray both named, which is great. And I think that, you know, by the time it comes around to Sunday, I think they will be okay to back up from this one. And maybe just have a lighter week of training, you know, over the late part of the week and into the weekend. And then, you know, next week as well, probably a lighter week of training. So that is that video, guys. I hope that helped you guys out with the team list. And we'll just delve into everything a lot more tonight when I get back home from work. So I hope you enjoyed it. Catch you in the next one, guys. See you later.